Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome in, welcome in. Glad you could make it. Glad you could make it. I've finally put the word out that I'm live, so live with a whole brand new game. Let me just pull that in, shall we? Put this away, bring this in. Here we are. This is Roadwarden. It is a game made by Oral Anxiety Studios. Which is an interesting name for a game studio, but hey, here we are. This is the screen that shows up every time you load into the game. The little saying in the middle is different just about every time. I don't know how many there are, but I get them every time I open up the game, so I figured I'd show you. A birdhouse brings feathers, but also talons. Interesting. So here we are in Roadwarden. Enter. This is the menu screen. As you can see, I have a continuation, but we will be starting a new game because that was the decision from yesterday. Let me just double check my settings really quickly. Turn this up just a touch. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. All right. So, to a new game. Here we go. This is the story. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Road wardens not only accept this struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and, if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one, and it pays well. So, do we leave the safety of the city walls, or do we still have our doubts and go back to the menu? I tested both options when I was fiddling with this game originally, so I do know that in this case, only leaving the safety of the city walls will get us to the game. So here we go. We are leaving the safety of the city walls. Now we must select a difficulty mode. This choice cannot be altered later. Yes, we shall leave and have adventure. I will not be doing restrictive because I do not know this game well enough for the time limit to be easily managed, and the damage would be terrible. I have not been playing the standard. Those who are more familiar with RPGs probably would enjoy the standards with the 40-day time limit and the regular rule set. I was playing on casual. I like story. It has no time limit. There's more cash to begin with. Some quests are more forgiving. It will be more story-driven than RPG limit-driven. So if you guys want to see me struggle, standard is the way to go. If you guys are in it for the story, for my reading, for my voice, then casual is the way to go. What would chat like? Where should we go? What difficulty mode shall we play on? As I said, I will not do restrictive. I do not have the RPG chops for that one. That would be a bad time. We have a vote for casual. Does the rest of chat agree? Casual it is. We are in it for the story. I like you guys a lot for that. You're going cash. This is what the game looks like most of the time. You will notice that we have sort of pictures or map screen on this side that shows only what we can currently see. We have the text area where the story is, and we also have our list of decisions. There is other things over here. Currently, we can access our settings, our quick save, our quick load, our archive, which will tell us many things. And we know what time it is. You'll notice that it goes this in a counterclockwise sort of way. We also have a grayed out option here, wait, because we cannot wait at this point in time. Ah, yes, I can. Give me just a bow. Just do a little bit of this. Is that better? It's hard for me to tell how the sound is for you guys, so I'm always happy to adjust if you guys need me to. I hope that's better. Let me know if it isn't. So, yeah, I can't tell how loud it is for you guys on your end. I really have no idea. So, I would have to pull up my own stream, and that would do bad things to my poor laptop. I do not have a streamer set up here, guys. This is so bare bones, so bare bones. But I've done my best. That will have to be good enough, I guess. Anyway, from what we can see, the wall is still standing. There are no wolves around, no stench of blood. Good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You are supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beast folk nor trolls, and the night is near. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had been a long day. So, do we think that we could look around for another shelter? Would we like to look around cautiously? Would we like to dismount, sneak to the gate, and peek inside, or get off the horse and enter the camp briskly, as if we own the place? I have a vote for number 2, cautiously. What would the rest of chat like? Looking around cautiously it is. Considering the noise, you doubt that anyone noticed the clatter of hooves. The short, dry grasses barely cover the arid soil of this valley, but you're maybe a minute away from the edge of the sparse woods, which gets denser as they climb up the hills. At best, this trail has a few more years before getting overgrown for good. Hard to believe it's the only route north. So, once again, we could just look for another shelter, dismount and sneak to the gate to peek inside, or get off the horse and just enter the camp as briskly as possible. 1, 2, or 3, what shall it be? Chat, you tell me. Two again. Start off the vote with sneak and peek. Sneak and peek it is. So as you can see, because we still have things being talked about, we now have vitality. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chance you'll die in combat. But we feel well. We are 3 out of 4 of vitality. Your heavy boots hit the ground, and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. We only have one choice, so we must approach the gate slowly. And as you can see, more of the artwork has come to bear because we've peeked inside. So that is how these things work. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. 2 people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a light-hearted drinking song from the city harbor. So we could just go look for another shelter, or they don't look like much of a threat. We can enter. I cannot draw my axe. That is not one of my choices here. So 1 or 2, are we looking elsewhere, or are we going to just enter? We've started with 2 again. Two is the way forward, it seems. They don't look like much of a threat. I can enter. It takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes. His beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace with a head covered in iron hangs at his side, but he doesn't reach for it. We will have to take a look at the second soul. Just like you, she's wearing a gameson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are weary, yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, these two surely looked the part, though there should have been more of them. 8, you believe. Do we let them speak first, or do we ask about their lieutenant? Hey, Dragon, welcome in, welcome in. We are just getting into Roadwarden. You haven't missed very much. We've just literally arrived, walked in, and seen 2 people. That's all that's happened. This is all that we know about. All that we can see. It seems the 2s are very popular today. The vote has started off with 2. Ask them about their lieutenant. What does the rest of chat think? Winter Fairy agrees. But does Dragon? Well, the 2s have it all the same. We will ask them about their lieutenant. You wonder how to phrase your question. Whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes. So, we have the friendly attitude, which would allow us this option. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? We have the playful attitude, which is this option. I'm sure you're busy, so if you could just introduce me to your lieutenant. We have the distanced attitude, which is, I'm looking for your lieutenant. We have the intimidating attitude, which is, I'd rather speak with someone who's not going to waste my time. Or we have the vulnerable attitude, which is, I had a long journey. I need to have a word with your lieutenant. So, friendly, playful, distanced, intimidating, or vulnerable. The vote has already started with friendly. What shall we do, chat? How shall we address these 2 weary-looking individuals who happen to be armed? Friendly, but with a hand on our axe. I cannot do the hand on the axe part, but we can certainly do friendly. That seems to be the consensus. So here we go. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? The woman lets out a loud sigh, dusts off her gamison, and steps towards you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. We most definitely can, you and I, although holding this rank is still somewhat new to me. Are you a messenger? Did you lose your mount? She observes you with curiosity. Are you looking for help? I'm your new Roadwarden. My horse is waiting outside. Really? The soldier in the shirt leans forward. That explains how you got here in one piece, all by yourself. Better bring your beast here, adds the lieutenant. We have no hay, but I bet it dreams of dropping its saddle. A long pause. I'm Tulia, by the way. She reaches out her hand. Do we shake her hand, or do we think that it's a trap? Either way, we're going to introduce ourselves here in a moment, but are we friendly or are we cautious? Winter Fairy starts off the vote with friendly. What does the rest of chat believe? Or think? Or want? 1. But we have an axe. Yes, we do have an axe, Trav. It is currently not being put to use, but we have one, yes. Everyone's got a weapon. There's a sword, there's a mace, there's an axe. Everyone can whack things to death if they want to. I shake her hand. How do we want people to call us? The default is Leto, but we can put any name in that we like. Do we stick with Leto, or do we choose a different name? My mother always said I'd be an axe murderer when I grew up. Oh, Trav. Oh, Trav. I've met your mother. She's very lovely. I don't believe for a moment that she thought you'd become an axe murderer. Maybe a poet. Leto is Fenris's true name. Salron. Dragon wants to have our name be Salron. I can go with that. What does chat think? Sauron it is. Go chat. We have a cool name now. Thank you, Dragon, for the name. That was awesome. Everyone give Dragon a thumbs up or an emoji of some sort. He's a cool dude. Lord of the Rings for the win. Yep. Her grasp is confident. The shake is slight. Just keep your horse away from the tents, she steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. There's this one issue. The soldier on the shirt also rises to his feet. We've no tent to spare. You'll have to use a blanket or something. So, is a lack of a tent no problem? We enjoy observing the stars, or I should get used to sleeping on the ground anyway, because Roadwarden. Dragon, you are a cool darn nerd. Don't you even start with that whole I'm not cool thing. You're cooler than me, that's for sure. You've shown me pictures of your streaming setup. It's pretty darn cool, my dude. So, Winter Fairy and Dragon has said, no problem, I enjoy observing the stars. Trav has said, I should get used to sleeping on the ground anyway. There were supposed to be 8 of them. Where's the rest of their kit? We don't know. I mean, look at how shabby this place is. There's crap everywhere. Broken shit. No idea what happened. But, no problem. I enjoy observing the stars. Alright, enjoy, DC Online. Enjoy the game. Happy to have you lurking. You walk through the gate. Your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's only taller than you, but also bulky, as heavy as it is strong. You get in the saddle within a single breath, but most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. Horses were brought to the dragon woods from the conquests in the south. They can trot for a long time, but they won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you too would be lost. So how do we feel about our horse? Is it our only companion and we want it to feel at ease, or we don't care how it feels, but I need it to be strong if I want to travel, because I can't afford another one? This is a giant of a horse. Like, think of the biggest draft horse you've ever seen, Trav. That's the kind of horse that we're talking about here. You would need to be tall and strong enough to pull yourself up on this horse from the ground. And not a lot of people in this world could manage it, because this is a mountain of a horse. That is... it's taller than us. It's also bulky. Like, this is a dire horse is what we're talking about here. But yeah, it would be easy to ride. Most people wouldn't know where to even begin to mount it is the problem. That's what they're trying to express. The language could have been edited a little better. But again, this is a fantasy world. We're in the world of Roadwarden. It has its own lore. It has its own setup. It's not the world we know. That's for certain. So, how do we feel about our horse? Do we want it to feel at ease, or do we understand that we just really can't afford another one? Trav has started the vote off with, let's be nice to our only animal/companion that we have. Winter Fairy agrees, so that is the consensus. It's my only companion here. I want it to feel at ease. It takes a few steps towards you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck, with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Humans see useful animals, and even pets, as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom, but you know that horses need companionship. I speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time, it starts to chafe. You wish it had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn, but we need to unpack. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Worst of all, you have no rope left, but maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions, essential for your trade. So, are we a fighter, a mage, or a scholar? I'm going to click on I want to learn more about the three classes just because I've read through this, but you guys haven't yet. So we're going to learn. As a fighter, you'll have an easier time in physical challenges thanks to your superior equipment and hidden bonuses during dice rolls. You'll be physically more capable than the other classes, what opens unique opportunities during some social interactions. It's the best class for RPG beginners. The fighter's weakness is their reliance on physical strength. Your special abilities won't be available to you if your vitality points drop to 0. And as we know, this heart here is our vitality. The mage uses Pneuma, a versatile but limited pool of energy points that can be spent to cast a few humble spells. Magic won't protect you better than a sharp axe, but as a mage, you'll be able to heal faster while resting, detect magic in a mysterious area, distract a beast with a simple trick, and find a common tongue with other magic users. Using the mage's power too freely will result in having no pneuma left when you need it the most. The scholar will know more about the world's mysteries than you, helping you take advantage of some unusual situations. Your character will be able to impress the locals with its knowledge, and you'll be able to read the sparse written clues without anyone's assistance. Scholars struggle with combat more than any other classes, but with enough carefulness and exploration, you'll gain access to alchemical mixtures that will help you escape from many dangerous situations. Something like that, yes. It's essentially 3 different play styles. When I played a few, 4 hours of this game previously, I played as a fighter just because it is said to be the easiest. We're in it for the story as far as chat has decided, so it might be our best choice to be the fighter, just because that way we can get more of the story without having to struggle. But if you guys want to see me struggle, the mage or the scholar is a perfectly valid option. I will go with the struggle if that is what chat wills. But we're in it together, chat. So let's decide what we'll be: a fighter, a mage, or a scholar. Dragon wants mage. Winter Fairy says fighter. Trav, do you want to be the tiebreaker? Or are you going to pick scholar and make me choose? We all know how much I love making choices. What is the consensus? Fighter, mage, or scholar? See, guys, Well, okay. So we have one definite fighter. If we're after the story, fighter, but mage. Or we'd like scholar because they know things, but fighter could also work. Ayah. You guys are making me pick. I don't like it. I do not. I've played a little bit of fighter, so it'll be covering ground that I've already walked to some degree. I didn't get very far into this game. Don't get me wrong. I fussed and fiddled around for a while. But if I want absolutely new stuff, mage or scholar is the way to go. Scholar is going to be not necessarily the most difficult in combat, not necessarily the most difficult to play. Mage might be the more fiddly one just because you have to keep your pneuma in check. I don't really have a preference here is the problem. Chat, discuss. Tell me what I'm making, what class I am. Tell me. Please, I need your help. Winter Fairy is doubling down on fighter. All right, I guess we're going with fighter. We will go over ground that I have covered. It'll be fine. I'll be a fighter. So now we have armor. Taking hits will damage your armor. You can sit in various settlements. It will stop even a life-threatening strike. With your current gamison, it's the best protection you can get. So we're at 3 of 4 armor, 3 of 4 vitality. It is 15 minutes before dusk. And now we have an inventory, so we can open the inventory to see our possessions. We'll do that in a minute. Actually, we'll do that now, because this will just wait. Unless you're occupied with another task, you can eat food, drink potions, and use your items from this menu. Be sure to click on each new item you receive. Some of them can have unusual applications. I mean, it's the normal RPG thing where the warrior or fighter class is the basic, easy thing, and then everything else is just more complication. So we have supplies. These are food rations. They consist of dried meat, crackers, nuts, seeds, fruit, and water, which spoil slowly and don't require additional cooking. If I click on it, I get even more information. The fresh snacks spoil fast outside of a cellar, while long-lasting foods are either expensive, like honey or dried meat, or require cooking before consumption, like beans or grains. Most travelers spend their nights in taverns, huts, and villages, where they can trade for cheap, warm meals or even eat leftovers for free. As a result, food rations are eaten only when necessary. Their nourishment are 2 vitality out of 4. Our current nourishment is 2. You experience no penalties nor bonuses. We cannot use our inventory right now, so we must return. We also have merchandise. A pouch with coins. The city artisans make coins by cutting dragon bones into slices. They are valued by merchants, though rarely used in the countryside. When it comes to trade, there's barely any connection between Havlaven's marketplaces and the inns of the countryside. While city officials keep track of the value of different goods and oversee the legitimacy of used coins, the villages prefer to barter or exchange their resources for work or other favors. A single coin is worth quite a lot among merchants. It allows you to stay and eat in a shoddy city tavern for about 5 days. For 10 coins, you'd buy a decent bow, for 20, a sword, and for 100, a squad of mercenaries will be willing to face a family of trolls. So we have 10. A gamison, a padded defensive jacket made of linen filled with rags. It's the cheapest type of armor, yet surprisingly effective, and as a result, very common. Padded jackets are an essential piece of any armor set. They protect the wearer's chest, abdomen, arms, and thighs. The lighter jackets, called aiktons, are worn under heavier sets made of allies or chitin, while the thicker ones, known as gamisons, are worn alone. They are relatively easy to make, and while not all travelers can afford them or wear them for hours without getting tired, they are commonly used by guides, mercenaries, and soldiers. Your armor is not in the best shape and could use some additional work. We also have the travel set. Our sack contains all sorts of useful tools. Yep. Well, Dragon, you're much better at RPGs than I am. I am not great at them. I like the story, I like the exploration. I'm not so great at combat. It is mentioned that it is worn. Like we probably bought this game as in secondhand. But anyway, the travel set. All sorts of odds and ends that you've taken on this journey, just in case. A rainproof cloak, a set of bone needles and a thread, an iron knife, a blade sharpener, a tinderbox, a couple of tallow candles, a bunch of rags used to make torches, as well as a flask of oil, a pair of protective gloves made of thick leather. And our weapons. We have a well-crafted battle axe. Traveling with an axe shows that you've learned how to fight humans and human-sized monsters, while having a weapon made of steel makes it clear that you are someone to be reckoned with. Axes made of metals or alloys are among the most common weapons used by travelers. Not as safe as spears, not as fancy as swords, but their powerful strikes can get through animal shells, scales, or thick fur, as well as most armors. They are not great when it comes to parrying, but a single strike may be enough to leave a devastating wound. Still, the vast majority of them are used by lumberjacks, farmers, or carpenters, and pretty much every household in the countryside owns at least one, just in case. Their shapes, sizes, and used materials vary. Heads are made of stone, especially flint, bones, chitin, and massive seashells, while handles are almost always made of wood, antlers, and leather scraps. Straps. Not scraps. Straps. Although they could be scrappy. You spent a lot of time training how to fight, and like most warriors, your grip is reliable. If needed, you can throw an axe to hit a target over a dozen feet away. We also have a difficult to make and valued for their usefulness. Crossbows can be used even by an inexperienced traveler to pierce most scales and armors. It's difficult to buy a crossbow outside of a city craft guild. They require complex mechanisms made by combined efforts of specialized artisans, but their expensive parts may keep the weapon drawn for many hours. They are easy to aim and shoot, and their quarrels hit much faster than the regular bow arrows. While loading takes a fair bit of time, in some cases even half a minute, the newer models don't require much effort nor strength, thanks to the introduction of advanced winches. Such a weapon can be a powerful tool even in the hands of an untrained monk. Some crossbows are much more complex than bows. They are often altered by enchanters who focus their attention on a specific small part. The most popular enhancements include faster reload speed, extended draw weight, increased durability, and lighter weight. We have 3 bolts. So that is our stuff. That is what we have. We also have a journal for keeping track of things. We have an archive to see what we have missed if we click through too fast. Save and load, pretty self-explanatory. Here we are. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still there. Just in case, you take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife, nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. So we will return to the soldiers. They're at the table again, observing your beast and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of wooden bowls. One more bowl was put at a previously unused end of the table. You can sit down on a tree log. Do we join them and take a look at the meal? Do we thank them for the meal, but we don't want to eat with them? Do we sit down and ask Tulia what she can tell us about this area, or do we completely ignore the meal and sit down to speak with Tulia? You know very well, Trav, that most games nerf the armor or are inaccurate in some way about it. We cannot do anything about that, unfortunately. Looks like the majority of chat is like, let's eat. We're hungry, let's eat. We join them and take a look at the meal. Keeping your stomach full will make you stronger. Starvation won't allow you to restore vitality while resting. You can find your supplies in the inventory. We are at 2 out of 4 nourishment. We experience no penalties nor bonuses. So yes, we must keep ourselves fed as well. It's cold gruel, a meal eaten in times of hardship. This specific bowl is filled with water, hog millet, and some strange cereals and blueberries. Welcoming you with a meal, even a humble one, is beyond their duty. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their groups as they face dozens of hideous creatures. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. Road wardens, on the other hand, learn how to work by themselves. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same roads for years. They help the settlement stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships. When there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles. We eat quickly, not focusing on the taste, and then speak with Tulia. She's focused and chooses her words very carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I'm afraid I can tell you less than I would like to, and less than I should. She nods towards the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead, 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, adds her companion. Any piece of information may help me do my job. The man leans forward. His legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick. Whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the officials tell you? I expect not that much. No soul governs these lands. So, do we share what we consider to be relevant, or what I've discussed with officials should stay between me and them? Friendly or cautious? Winterberry votes friendly. Yep, sharing info is probably the good move. All right, I share what I consider to be relevant. You tell the soldiers how little guidance you've received. Since this area is too far away from Havlavin to keep it under control, you were warned that it's untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villages, bandits, or monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses, or find what they're looking for? So I was looking for your guidance. The lieutenant drinks from her cup and crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. Where should we start? So, as you can see, I have one grayed out thing, which is essentially us going forward. Many of these questions we will be able to go through. Some of them will lock out other options. So understand that if you go too far down the list, we may not be able to ask all of them. So we have, what should we know about the peninsula? Any ideas what happened to the previous road warden? I've lost my rope. Could you spare one? What happened to your squad? Tulia, how did you become a lieutenant? What was your squad's mission? Anything I should know about this camp, or if you were me, where would you go next? I believe there are 8 choices. Peninsula, road warden, rope, squad, lieutenant, mission, camp, next. 2, why are we here? Yeah, that might be... that might be a good question to ask. Trav started with 2 and then said just do them in order. What does Winter Fairy think? Or anyone else for that matter? Yes, it does not matter, but that doesn't mean that chat doesn't have an interest in one question over another. But it looks like we'll just start from the top and see where we go. What should I know about the peninsula? I'll tell you what I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I would guess it would be 3-4 days? When you confirm, she continues. From here, you can reach the coast in about a day, as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get here? You nod. The sea route allows Havlavan officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages, collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools. But maintaining order on a wild coast such as this one is like filling the ocean depths with coins. Because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore, and boats can't get much closer. I don't know much about fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with the city folk. As she pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to the camp, but when we travel to the roadside inn, Pelt of the North, they're happy to trade, and to play dice. Why not just stay at one of the settlements? The man clears his throat. I mean, you know, we're to guard this road. This camp is our post, and, well, he turns towards Tulia. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, Salron, but are you a devout soul? So this is the part where we can decide our religion. We have the options of, like most city folk, I believe that people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. So we could be part of the United Church. Or, for many years I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of an order of truth, which is a very monastery monk-like order. Or, I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of shell, pneuma, and soul are the main virtues of my life. My community is unique and independent, and so are its members. I have a place in my fellowship. So we, clearly we have the fighter-centric, the mage-centric, or I should say the scholar-centric and the mage-centric. Fighter, scholar, mage centric religions. And then I have a strong connection to nature and spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan, which is the everything else centric. Or there's no evidence of the right's existence and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. No, I am not. So we could also be an atheist. So, the United Church, an order of truth, my fellowship, or a pagan. A pagan or an atheist. Yeah. A pagan, right here. What religion or shall we go with? Or should we pick a religion at all, chat? I know this is a very contentious subject, but unfortunately, it is our only way forward. So, United Church, or order of truth, fellowship, pagan, or none. Looks like the consensus is be a pagan. We're going druid. Okay, doing it. I have a strong connection to nature and spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan. A pagan Roadwarden? The man scratches his head without the slightest subtlety. Now I'm sure we can have a conversation. We're civilized people. The lieutenant clears her throat. I'm from the United Church, but I'm not a priest or anything, and definitely not a zealot. An awkward pause. The United Church has spilled the blood of countless pagan tribes, making it clear that who's not them is against them. Your family shared gruesome stories about the atrocities committed by the priests against your ancestors. So, sure, I'm not looking for squabbles, or do we frown in silence? Winter Fairy is very excited about being a pagan. All right, then. I do hope Winter Fairy understands that, technically speaking, the term pagan is for anything that is not of the church, basically. Doesn't even matter which church. It's just whatever's not of that church is pagan. It's kind of a catch-all. Winter Fairy wants to be polite. How does the rest of chat feel? Trav, your humor is on point as always. Sure, I'm not looking for squabbles. The people here are disquieting. Every few words, she taps the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials here. She starts to draw lines with her index finger as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an ermite. You nod. She means a fellowship. They do crazy shit, her companion chirps in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged never to return there. I see. We have necromancers. You've heard tales such as this one since you were a child. If an isolated settlement manages to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages, the bringers of doom, the traitors to mankind. So, what do we have? 3 questions we can ask, and then that's all I need to know will put us forward. So, do we want to ask all the questions in order, or do we want to ask them in any different order? We have, were you able to speak with these necromancers? How about the East, or any monster worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? Man of culture, we raided Dawn. I want to be a necro. Well, we might have the opportunity in this game. There are necromancers in the world. I don't know if we can become one. We didn't become a mage after all, but, well, there you go. All right. Trav wants to ask about monsters first, but we have necromancers, necromancers, the East, and monsters. Trav has started the vote with the monsters. Does the rest of chat agree? Winter Fairy wants to learn about the necromancers. We have the chance to ask all 3 questions, I'm just saying. Which one are we starting with? See, I told you guys we should have gone mage. Make Sauron what he was meant to be. Too late now, dragon. Too late now. All right, we're going to speak with the necromancers. Or ask about them, I should say. You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it, the lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a road warden. The roads are dangerous, with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first, and soon. Tulia nods. Pell to the north. It's a safe place. You can talk with the innkeep or the guards and ask them about the road. Do we ask about the east first, or the monsters? Uh, looks like we're asking about the east first. Sorry, Winter Fairy, we'll ask about the monsters next, I promise. And how about the east? She stares it off across the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. Apparently, there's not much in the east, except for more stuff. More wilderness. Any monster worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? We saw all sorts of beasts. The man started to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants, cats, large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars, molfen eaters, griffins, but we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts, Tulia glanced at her companion, though a palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting amongst themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck. All right. Well, that's all I need to know. She nods. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. So, let's find out about the previous Roadwarden. We've got lots of questions to get through. We're just going to go down the list, I guess. Any ideas what happened to the previous Roadwarden? Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him for almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tips of his knife without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave it done. Unlike us, Asteron never gets bored. Tulia lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement. The man carves with passion. We haven't seen him or his Saurian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer Roadwardens often use four-legged, meat-eating Saurians as their mounts. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching, but unlike horses, can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable, and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. Yeah, kind of a dragon mount. More like a giant lizard mount, really. Or, well, a type of dinosaur-ish thing. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message? Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, says Tulia. My predecessor left me no clues. We also took a look at Asteron's stuff. Asteron's stuff. Wait! She raises her open palm. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads to a nearby tent. He has kids, in a village near Havlavin. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, some potions. Quite a treasure. She glances at you. But I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff? Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned and you know nothing about her, she either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us, tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to Havlavin together? You think about your real mission. You were planning to return to Havlavin in the early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all of his possessions. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'll begrudge you anything. And who knows, you may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear, mostly. Maybe 5 feet tall, but stout. Long, red beard, short hair. Pale face, rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. Just find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left. Just let me know. You can use our journal to see our list of quests. So we have gotten our first quest. Find the Roadwarden. Before I became the Roadwarden of this peninsula, a man known as Asteron used to patrol these roads. If I manage to find out what happened to him and bring the news to Tulia from the southern camp, I'll receive his abandoned belongings. So that is how we will keep track. Oh, nice. Nice, dragon. I don't do the Soulsborne games, but nice. I have lost my rope. Could you spare one? You're in luck. She heads towards one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down in her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind. Take a closer look. Ooh, a fine rope. A regular rope made of hemp fibers. I take it and offer some food in return. Or we could just buy it. We only have this little bit of food, but they have less interesting food than us. So do we want to buy it, or do we want to offer some food in return for the fine rope? What do you think, chat? It will literally cost us nothing. This round symbol here is a dragon bone. Probably at the upcoming inn we've been told about, Pelt of the North. Probably buy food there. Got some dragon bone coins to trade. But it looks like everyone says buy, don't waste your money, don't waste your food. Okay. Alright, we're keeping the food. Tulia nods. For now, you leave the rope on the table. What happened to your squad? The man shrugs. Bandits happened. And monsters. A strong band, though, his companion chips in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we would have all died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretend to be soldiers. Stay there at night, lose everything you have. Sounds like slave hunters. Tulia sighs. Very much so. They killed some and took others away, who knows where. They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of our people died. Don't exaggerate. It's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them and take over their camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road. Saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well? Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader, and they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a treant, another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of ritual hunt, so a werebear tore her to pieces. The last one tried to act tough, didn't tell us that he had cut his hand while cleaning his gameson. She lets out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north, find a new life, disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. So, do we say you made this place safer, or do we stay silent? Safe or silent? Safe or silent? What do we do? What do we do? Winter Fairy says, you made this place safer. What does the rest of chat think? All right, we're going to be nice. You've made this place safer. Barely. Tulia seems tired. And who knows if it is worth the lives and effort. Tulia, how did you become a lieutenant? That's not much of a story, honestly. She looks at her hand, which is currently rolling a mug over the table. In the city, there's a strict order of, what should I call it? She exchanges looks with her companion, but he can't help her. Well, leadership succession. I guess Havlavin chief selects commanders. Those select lieutenants, and those put their soldiers in order of priority. If a lieutenant dies, they get replaced by the next soldier in line. So you were his successor? Nah, not exactly. When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either of them from a spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, piercing their heads, completely avoiding their shield. Really unpleasant. She pauses. Do we say, and you were the third one in line, is that right? Or jumping like that to save a man in the middle of an attack doesn't sound like a wise decision. Ah, young love. Trav says 1. Yeah, the quality of recruits has clearly deteriorated. Looks like these accidents have improved things here. No shit. This group of soldiers had no idea what they were up against. They really should have been more experienced to come out to this wilderness. And you were the third one in line, is that right? Basically, yeah, she says without enthusiasm. I didn't plan to become a leader, though. I'll get demoted once we return to the city. I prefer to follow anyway. Good luck at ordering. I hope it's delicious when it arrives. What was your squad's mission? The lieutenant looks into your eyes. You know, the usual, making the road safe, keeping people alive. I explain that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. I can't really tell you. You sense no hesitation. Do you have any other questions? So she doesn't trust us enough to tell us about her squad's mission. That's interesting. Interesting information here. We have an option we can't even use because of a trust. So this may be something that we can come back and learn later. Anything I should know about this camp? The story is brief. Some merchants built the camp to have an extra stop for mules and donkeys, just between the inn and the southern villages. There's plenty of grass here and a pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned, from time to time serving as a shelter for travelers. The bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here whenever you want, the man concludes their tale, though don't expect to wake up without pain in your back. If you were me, where would you go next? The soldiers answer quickly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest from here. If you can't afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more traveled, mentions Tulia, but the hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen and knows many souls. Any tips on how I can make a good first impression on him? She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes, stick to trade, don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on. Well, it's getting late. We should prepare for the night. So, if we open the archive, we can reread the most recent text, as I've already shown. I agree, Tulia sighs with relief. And may you do better than Asteron did. Vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. Thank you for your help. One more thing, if I can. The bearded man approaches you. Can you take the first watch? Splitting time between 3 people makes a great difference. You think for a moment. To fully rest, you'd need a good sleep. So, we can say, sure, leave it to me, or I'm exhausted. If we help them out to give them a little bit of a break and a bit more rest than the 2 of them can get on their own at night, they would be they would be happier with us. If we just be selfish, well, yeah, we don't have to leave at dawn after all. I mean, Trav says let's be nice and help him out, but it's up to chat. You guys tell me. Yes, I know, Trav, you have a double vote because Winter Fairy's busy. You power-hungry man, you. Okay, we're gonna be nice. Sure, leave it to me. Fabulous. He pats your shoulder. It should be calm, at least before midnight. Wake me up in a few hours, or even earlier if anything happens. What do you think? Should we just nod, or will we be more friendly and smile and say happy to do our part? Trav want triple the vote? Oh no. Dragon, don't give him so much power. Oh, you guys are great. Well, with the triple vote that Trav has now acquired, we smile. I'm happy to do my part. You go to the barrel and splash water on your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. So, now we have a new stat over here as well, appearance. Stay tidy to have a better chance to influence others. So, our appearance is 2 out of 5. You don't stand out from the crowd. You won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. Yes, I know that you are all chaos all the time, Dragon. It is time to prepare for our watch. The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There's plenty of griffins around, though they won't try to jump over the palisade. Probably. Better watch out for the apes. They climb up and carry out any food they can find. And there's this one really loud were-elk that keeps smelling the wall, though it has never tried to get in. He points at a gate. The lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy, so if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us to help you out. And if this someone is being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them the rope instead. He scratches his head. If it gets cold, feel free to make a fire. And the best place is on the watchtower. You may want to put a blanket there or something. The watchtower? He gives you a long, puzzled look. Oh, here. He points to a pile of crates. Just climb up to the tallest one. You'll have a great view of the northern side, the more dangerous side. And also, I know you're tired after all that riding. He points to the tent on the other side of camp. I can handle a couple of hours sleeping on the ground, if you wish. If you wish, go there after me and rest, just this once. At least I have a pallet inside. So, do we smile and say thanks a lot, or do we walk away? I'm fine, don't worry about me. You're playing a villain in DCU. I mean, that's just definitely you, Dragon. All chaos, all the time. Besides, the villains have more fun. As we all know. Even if they fail to succeed in the end. So, do we smile and say thanks for being able to sleep on a pallet, or do we walk away and say, don't worry about us, we'll just sleep on the ground? Yeah. Trav has said once and says thanks a lot. So, I'm assuming that's the way we're going to go. Because he has all the votes right now. Because chat is crazy. I smile. Thanks a lot. Look at how interesting it is that now the whole map has been opened up. We can now see the entirety of this place. It's just cool how they do it. I like how they do it. The little pixelated pictures. You put your blanket on the tallest crate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshment. From time to time, your back aches, and you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grasses. For most of the time, you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are exceptions. At one point, you see 3-horned deer trying to challenge one another before they clash their antlers. A 2-legged dragonling appears, leading its much smaller offspring. The furry beasts try to intimidate the predators with roars and aggressive head movements. After a few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight, nor to admit their defeat. I don't let it distract me. I keep looking around. You hear the death screams of distant prey and the mating calls of monkeys. Runners are chasing a gray hare. A group of musk oxen lazily chew the grass, preparing themselves to sleep. A dusk fox is running together with a lynx, making playful screeches. Thankfully, you never have to intervene. You just sit there, watching the not so distant forest, trying to outlast your sleepiness. You can only guess how much time has passed. Once you feel you've had enough, you climb down and go to a tent, waking up the bearded man with just a couple of words. You confirm that nothing important has happened. We gather our things and squeeze into the tent. We use our bag as a pillow, put our blanket on the pallet, and cover ourselves with our cloak. Sleeping in a tent is not the stuff of dreams, but it's a much welcomed rest. The pallet keeps the cold soil away. The moonlight saves the outside world from the eerie gloom. You listen to your own breath and find a comfortable position. Your job starts tomorrow. Let's focus on the real goal of our journey. New entry. The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Your wardening duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula, learn about the territory, resources, and threats, get to know the locals, and, if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Hovlavin officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers or be a threat to the priests of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery? At least I have time. I need to be as thorough as I can. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Hovlavin. There, you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. So, what is our goal in life, guys? Do we want to gather some extra coins so we can help a person we care about? Do we need to gather some extra coins so we can retire early and live in prosperity and safety? If we gather enough connections among the local leaders, we'll use them to become a major player in the Merchant Guild. Do we want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and order to this realm? Do we want to be a hero? Or do we just like to help people, making this region safer for locals and newcomers alike? Or, last but not least, we need to find a new life for ourselves. We have a difficult past and we want it to be forgotten. Why did we become a road warden? For the wild north. Winter Fairy says help people. Does Trav agree? Trav says difficult past. Does Dragon want to weigh in? You're right. Help people. Dragon says retire early. Well, I've got many votes for help people, so helping people is what we're going to do. We want to help people. So new shelter unlocked, new entry help others. You can't travel during the night. Press the sleep button to rest. Your half-asleep senses are catching the sounds of the wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious, though the pleasant, humid late summer air evens it out slowly. You're thinking about your goal, but you need to gather your strength. And thus, all we can do now is rest, so we must use the sleep button. Sleeping in a tent. You can spend the night in a borrowed tent. It's nothing special, but it will protect you from the wind and rain, and the ground won't be painfully hard nor cold. So we will gain no hearts, we will lose 2 hunger, and we will lose 1 appearance. That is what this means. You don't need to eat right now. This is how many coins we have. We could just not sleep. That's the back button. But all we can do is sleep. So sleep we will. Here we go. Do. You're woken up by sunlight, well rested and ready. Without haste, you gather your things. After only a couple of breaths, you notice a weird smell, like a roast. No, burning meat. Burning, rotten meat. Disgust crawls into your consciousness. You exit the tent. Your horse is looking around nervously. Your bags are where you had left them. You see an open gate. We go outside to see what's happening. So as you can see, our nourishment is 1. We won't restore health while sleeping or resting because of it, but our vitality is the same. Our appearance is 1. People will be hesitant to trust you and our face is dirty, but our armor is the same. Yep, there was a pyre up here. So let's go outside and see what's happening. Oh, still a pyre. Now it's in use. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pyre. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Tulia is the first one to address to you. Salron, she greets you with a nod. We used the horse's manure for the flames, so don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or a female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. A traveler or an undead? Oh no, Dragon has given Winter Fairy 2 votes. The latter, a young one. She lacked the pneuma to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear from a safe distance. She shifts her weight. One more fog, and she'd be a real threat. Even now, it took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours and each moment it spends in the fogs. Burning the dead is not just a religious practice, it's a necessity. Soldiers, priests, village mayors, even road wardens, making a large pyre takes a lot of time, but it saves lives. Tulia calls this undead a she. Most unites hesitate to do so. Time for me to leave. Running away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She walks with you for a few steps. Find us here if you need us, or if you learned what happened to Asteron. There's enough ground here for you to rest. Safe travels. These words make you stop. An old farewell, mocked in a number of songs and tales, but yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. You wonder how many acts of kindness like this one you're going to experience in the days to follow. She returns to the pyre. But we prepare ourselves from the journey. Now we can use the travel button to see the map and move to another area. You somehow missed the fact that your mount was already saddled and warmed up. You double-check the equipment, but you don't need to fix anything. The soldiers were diligent. Normally, preparing any palfrey for a long journey takes a lot of time. You put on your gamson and make sure your axe is tightly attached to your belt, then get in the saddle. The palfrey knickers, ready to leave. It's time for you to get to the crossroads, north from here. Unfortunately, we cannot adjust our appearance at all. I was hoping we could splash water on our face and clean ourselves up, but nope. It is time to travel, so off we go. Travel forward to continue your journey. Once you're done with the north, speak with Tulia to return to Hovlavin. So, the only way we have to travel is north. The map key gives us nighttime shelter, and if we hover over Tulia's camp, we can see that there is a little bed to tell us that we can sleep here. Military outpost surrounded by a wooden wall set in the middle of the valley. You are currently here. Time to travel north. So this is the map. Part of it anyways, as you can see. Even at a later hour, you wouldn't expect to meet any travelers in the valley. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of the birds is quickly replaced by the distracting screeches and gurgles coming from further down the path. You soon find the pack of four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes and merge the feathers of birds and furred beasts. Each one is of a different size, coat, and colors, and their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker fur. Their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they're too heavy to fly. About 24 beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. So we must consider our options. The dice icon marks the actions that involved random chance. If you have any vitality points, you can use the warrior's training to access unique interactions. So if I click the force button, I will get different options down here. You can't enter the forest blindly. If these or other creatures were to chase after you, the thicket would be disastrous for your horse. There are reasons why travelers stay as close to the main roads as possible and why adventurers move in groups. Usually, the safest approach would be to stay where you are and just wait for the pack to get hungry. It may, however, take up a couple of hours. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You've got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence. We also have force down here. As an experienced warrior, you gain an advantage during physical struggles. So, we could take our axe and hurry the horse. If we ride fast enough, we should be fine. We could stay here, better safe than sorry, and just wait it out. We could also grab our crossbow. A light hit should be enough to make them scatter. If I click this button, getting through them should be easy enough. As you can see, it changes literally all my options. So we have some amount of force that we could use to just get through, or we could chance some things, or we could use our crossbow. What would chat like to do? 1, 2, 3, or optionally 4. We have 3 bolts, yes. We would lose a bolt to try and scatter them. So you want to attempt to take your axe and hurry the horse? Just to ride through fast enough, see what a chance challenge looks like, or do we want to use force? 4 will just allow us to get through. Looks like 1 is the way we want to go. Because 4 is the force option. All right, we're going to chance it. Let's hurry the horse. If we ride fast enough, we should be fine. Winter does have 2 votes. You can learn more about your abilities in your character sheet. We have a character sheet. We'll go over it in a moment, but we lost a vitality. Initially, your horse completely trusts your guidance, though after a few it snorts. You prepare your axe and get ready to push away any griffin willing to jump on you. Once you get in the middle of the prized herd, your mount squeals and gallops forward. The creatures in front of you flee, but others try to jump at you from both sides. You kick 2 of them away, but the third one scratches your leg. It hurt, but only a bit. You ride away and keep up. Still, you hear their screeches when your mount slows down. Let us check our character sheet. So, we are Salaron the Roadwarden. After years of training to become a fighter, to help the local villages and to make this region safer for the locals and newcomers alike. Of course, when our vitality is above 0, we can find ways to overcome our physical struggles. We have advanced training, so we have an advantage during physical interactions that involve random chance. We have vitality, nourishment, armor. Ooh. So, vitality affects your appearance and your random chance of success during physical struggles. Low vitality stops you from engaging in exhausting activities and increases the chance of dying in combat. You restore vitality by sleeping and resting. Nourishment affects your random chance of success during physical struggles. On levels 1 and 0, nourishment stops you from restoring health while sleeping or resting. You lose nourishment when you sleep or exhaust yourself and gain it whenever you eat. Armor reduces vitality losses in combat and can be fixed with proper tools or by tailors. The 4th level of armor is unavailable at the start of the game, but will give you a better chance of success during physical interactions that involve random chance. Appearance. Appearance affects your influence on others as well as prices in shops. It's based on your cleanliness, vitality, and outfit. Currently, we have a cleanliness of 1. You lose cleanliness when you sleep or engage in tiresome activities. You can wash yourself in safe water sources. You will do so more efficiently with special equipment. Our combat experience is slight. Engaging in combat helps you during future fights that involve random chance. We have spared no animals. Depending on your beliefs, saving and sparing animals either makes you a weakling or soothes your soul. Our religion is pagan, the path of your ancestors. You have a strong connection to nature and spirits. Your vanishing traditions are forbidden in the 10 cities and seen by some as sinister and treacherous. It is undetermined. The strength of your religious conviction is measured by your actions and judgments. We hold no lies. Lying gives you quick benefits, but may turn against you after some time. Some lies are difficult to pull off for an unexperienced liar. Our sewing experience is also none. You practice with fixing your with the usage of proper tools, and our gambling experience is also none. Helps you in luck-based games of dice. So, that is where we're at. Once I get to a safer spot, I stop to clean and bandage my wound. Keep track of your achievements as your journey unfolds. The road splits. According to what the soldiers have told you, you may find a safe inn by turning left. The forest to the right is lush and the trail overgrown. Kids used to have this song. How did it go? The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair. To those who search for treasure, do you truly dare? The signpost in front of you doesn't make your situation much clearer. It was put here by someone who can't write. For folks who can't read. Covered in old red paint, it points east. Blood there. As people say, danger to be found. There's not a soul to ask for guidance. I look at my horse. What is our horse's name? The default name is Sodal. Shall we be Salrun and Sodal? Or shall we pick a different name? Conrad or Epona? What, Soda Pop? Odd name for a horse. Solon. I guess I get to choose between the names that have been offered by chat. I'm gonna go with Soda Pop, just because it's funny. Soda Pop is peaceful as you stroke its mane. Maybe it can't help you choose a path, but you've spent many years together. Happy to go on, it takes a couple of steps forward. You spot a few berry shrubs and wild cabbages, but they still need at least 2 weeks to gain maturity. You're very into Lord of the Rings names, I see. Time to make a turn. So this is, we can always come back to the crossroads. If we wait at least 2 weeks, we might be able to gain some free food. So try to keep thoughts on that. Oh, Shadow's Mirror is Skyrim. You're correct. You're correct. You're correct. But we must travel. So, do we go to the east, where no one knows what's going on? Or do we go to the west, where we know there is an inn ahead of us? Chat, east or west, where are we going? As you can see, the little marker at the southern crossroads, a point connecting the deep forest of the east and the western wetlands and the road to Hoblaven. You are currently here. Now we have travel time back to Tulia's camp. 15 minutes. West. Looks like west is the way to go. To the west. There's the path. Soda Pop trots with ease, unbothered by the few branches covering the beaten road. The bird songs and distant howls draw your attention to the forest, which gets sparser and brighter. You spot boars, saurians. The sight of a nearby wolf pack worries you, but once you push your hips forward and your palfrey enters a canter, the beasts don't even begin a pursuit. The speed alone will protect you from many dangers. You notice a stone tower taller than the trees. It must be the inn we've heard about. Inns like this one fit the regions traveled by merchants, but you wouldn't expect a place of this size in a forsaken peninsula. The stone and lumber must have been transported from far away, and the workers, guarded by expensive mercenaries, surely lived for many seasons in a primitive hamlet, subsisting on salted supplies. There are seemingly no cracks in the wall, and the building was whitewashed only a few years back. The road is wide and beaten. Dozens of souls could hide, if not in the buildings, then at least in the yard. The expenses and labor put into this fortress were worth many trading ships. 3 armed people are on the ramparts, though you only see what's above their waistline. They're leaning on the parapet right next to the gate, and you think you notice a glimpse of a smile. They wear gamesons, each of them dyed differently: yellow, green, and linen gray. We approach the gate. A woman in yellow armor leads forward. She has long, curly, disorderly red hair, pointing in every direction possible. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw this much attention. There's still a fair distance between the two of you, but she speaks loudly. I hain't seen a horse for years now. I just said that it's weird to see such a large jackass, huh? Her voice is young and strong, with an accent that reminds you of the villages spread around Hovlavin. But no jackass would wear a saddle, I'd say. She exchanges a few words with a male guard wearing green, giving you time to move closer. Well, this one here says there really are donkey saddles. Say, traveler, how hard is it to ride a horse? How do we reply? Are we friendly? How about you give it a try? Are we playful? Do we laugh? You wouldn't believe it, the lessons were a pain. Are we distanced? It's easy to learn, but it's tiring. You train different muscles than those for combat. Are we intimidating? I don't answer her. It's an inn, isn't it? Open the gate. Or vulnerable. Quite hard, honestly. Some days are still rough on me. How do we respond to this lively woman? Friendly, distanced, intimidating, or vulnerable? One, two, three, 4, or 5. Playful, distanced, intimidating, vulnerable. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. What do we do, chat? What do we do? Playful? I think they're just bored. You're the first interesting thing they've seen in a while, let's be honest. Playful it is. I laugh. You wouldn't believe it. The lessons were a pain. You get off your horse and imitate the silly walk from the day that followed your first long journey, when your whole shell was crying. You illustrate the pain as you move your hands from your back to your hips, then thighs. In return, the guards tell you about that time when they had to carry their friend with bitten-off legs for 3 days straight, through the heart of the woods. Meanwhile, the other guards open the gate. You may be in a good mood. The woman in the yellow jacket smiles at you. But don't get so nosy when you talk to our boss. The man never smiles. He's the world's suffering sculpted on... he has the world's suffering sculpted on his face. She leads you under the roof under which your palfrey can rest, tethered with a cord to a wooden post near some old hay. Once you're ready, go inside. Speak with our boss. Maybe you're hungry? The other guards take care of the various chores. They peek at your mount every now and then as they're splitting firewood, cleaning their clothes, weeding the garden patches, and moving chairs. 2 of them are making a rope. You head towards the inn, hearing the piercing scream of a boar from the other side of the yard. And we open the door. If you're at an inn in the morning, you can spend an entire day on resting. Good to know. So this is the inside. We have the main floor and the upper floor, which I think is pretty cool with this isometric pixel art. The locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. A muscular man is sweeping the floor near the stairs, but after he glances at you, he leans the broom against the wall and heads behind the counter. You're lucky to show up. His voice is deep and soft, with a city-like accent. He observes you with keen attention, yet avoids your eyes. I have a keg of decent ale, wormwood, bog myrtle, juniper berries, cat's foot. He fills the mug carefully and puts it on the countertop. It's going to spoil soon, today maybe, and we don't drink here before the even. I hate to see the good stuff going to waste. His skin is dark, almost purple, rare even among the southern tribes. He is naturally bluish. His clothes are quite fancy for manual labor. The elegant tunic wouldn't stand out in the city square. I think they're only showing like 2 of the layers. I think this place is bigger than this, but I could be mistaken. I stand at the counter. The planks let out a creak for every step you make, so you slow down a bit. You could swear that the innkeeper had made little to no noise. Here you go. He pushes the mug forward. But just so you know, my pelt of the north doesn't belong to Hovlavin. You can sleep on the floor if you wish so, but if you want a bed or a meal, you'll have to pay. We may have some leftovers from dinner, but I'd need to check. So, we've been told not to be playful with this man, but we could be friendly. Thanks for the drink. I see you know how to make friends with a Roadwarden. We could be playful. Happy to help. As a Roadwarden, I'm more than capable of taking care of the entire cask if you need me to. We could be distanced. I won't stay here for long. We could be intimidating. I'm not here to pay compliments to piss in a mug. I'm a Roadwarden and I'm looking for answers. Or we could be vulnerable. Thank you. I'm a Roadwarden, so I'd never refuse a free drink. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Friendly, playful, distanced, intimidating, vulnerable. Winter Fairy says friendly. Does Trav agree? Or the rest of chat, for that matter. Three might be best for him. Distant? We could be distant. I don't think intimidating is going to go over well. This is clearly his place. We were told to definitely not be playful. You guys have left it up to me. This is not the way I want things to go. Don't leave it up to me. It's terrible. I'm going to try distant. I won't stay here for long. I introduce myself. He nods and fills another mug, this time with water. I guess there's no point in waiting for Asteron then. I'm glad to see someone taking his place. Even my crew here hits the road only if they need to see the healers of Howler's Dell, and they're more than resourceful. A Roadwarden is always going to find work here in the north, though maybe not on the eastern road. He takes a mouthful of water and drinks it with a pleased sigh. There are no guests here at this time, or hardly ever. I can take a short break. For a brief moment, he meets your eyes. Do we drink the ale, or do we ignore the ale and tell the man we have a couple of questions? He is most definitely sizing us up. I think we will get to talk to him either way. It's just a matter of, do we take his free drink or don't we? Yep, there are healers nearby, though for given value of nearby, I suppose. I'm gonna drink the drink. That seems to be kind of the consensus. I drink the ale. The dark room and wooden walls of the mug make the liquid look as brown as a chestnut. The lee and spring hits your nose, and the first sip is even too complex, too flowery. While the brewer has used fancy ingredients, the exotic licorice ruins the aftertaste. Now you know why there's so much left. Maybe it takes an acquired taste. The innkeeper nods. I was hoping to see someone willing to patrol the roads. Maybe you'll help me with a worrying thought I have? Which is... There are brigands in the woods. Our place is a stronghold, so I'm not afraid of an open strike, but they've gotten more active in the last 2 years. One day, they may steal our furs, and I've no doubt they're the reason why merchants come here only once. Having bandits around gets expensive. He rubs his hands together, camouflaging his paws. I want you to reach Howler's Dell, northwest from here. It's the largest settlement around. I'm sure you'll get there sooner or later. Ask Thais, the mayor, about Glacia, that bloodthirsty wolf of a woman. I've heard rumors about a raid in the north. If Glacia is ready to break the truce with the locals, I'm willing to join forces with them to get rid of her band. He looks at a nearby dragon bone. Not too difficult, right? Just do it when you have a chance. A couple of days won't make much of a difference. I'll pay you 2 coins when you get back with news. Fine? Do we nod or do we try to barter for 3? Knowing that our appearance is, not great. Our vitality is, less than it should be, and we're still hungry. Winter Fairy says that we should just accept the 2 dragon coins. Dragon-boned coins. It's a minor job, no sense in trying to gouge him and get him annoyed. That's fair. We will nod. Great, what else do you need? So, we could ask for something to eat of leftovers. We could ask a bunch of questions. We could go outside, or we could buy and sell things. What do we want to do first? Winter Fairy says leftovers. All right, let's do some food, if we can manage. Yes, I fed them to our boar. I won't give them away for nothing. He tells you to wait, then leaves the building for a few minutes and returns with a wooden bucket and a long stick ending with a hook. Go through the gates and turn left. You'll see a bunch of bushes. We need some berries. Bring me a bucket full. You'll be done in half an hour or so. Your horse could use a nap anyway, and I'll prepare something to fill you. The hook is made of metal or wood. It's long. It's a long curved claw, almost black. How do we react to being given a task to have a free meal? Do we reach for the tools? Half an hour. That's quite a lot for berry picking. Or I won't do that. Do I look like someone who forages for berries? Look, half an hour's work for a free meal. I don't know, you guys. I don't want to be a dick about this. What kind of berries do you have around here? Could be a useful lesson to how to get food ourselves later. That is fair, Trav. That is absolutely fair. I think doing a little job for half an hour is probably our best bet. The tools are cold, not too heavy. You notice a pair of thick gloves at the bottom of the bucket. The berries are not a problem, the innkeeper smirks. Unlike the snakes. Better scare them away with a stick or move them with a hook, and protect your hands. The little ones won't eat you, but don't get bitten. I'm sure you know how to be patient. So, will we go right away, or do we have other questions? We can talk to him now, or we can talk to him later. It's not that big a deal either way. Shall we ask a bunch of questions now, or shall we go get our half an hour's work done so we can eat some good food? But apparently the berry bushes are full of frickin' snakes. Winter Fairy's like, yeah, let's go get some berries. I'm inclined to agree with Winter Fairy. So, fine, I'll go right away. You step outside, Soda Pop is moving around slowly, as far as its cord allows. At this hour, the armorer's workshop is closed. So, we have many options here. The armorer is nowhere in sight, so we can't go to the armorer and check on things. We could go back into the inn, which we just left, so why bother? We could approach the guards and ask them questions. We could go to the well and freshen up, though perhaps after the berry picking might be better. Or we could go outside and just do the little berry job. What would chat like to do? We got options. Forage now, wash later, then eat. That's a fair assessment. Although if we do approach the guards, we could ask the guards about the berry picking. Forge now it is. We're going. We shall go outside and forage for berries. The innkeeper knew what he was talking about. You put on the gloves and look through the bushes from a safe distance. It doesn't take long before you notice the first serpent lying on a rock somewhere in the thicket. The creatures are not that large, and even if some of them hiss at you or slither closer, the jabs of the hook keep them at a distance. You don't know much about these berries. They are round and reddish. You wouldn't trust such a color even if you were looking for food in the wilderness. The plants don't have thorns, but the leaves are harsh, so you make sure to thoroughly cover your skin with your clothes. You have to look through many bushes to fill the bucket, but the presence of insects and snakes doesn't allow you to relax. We gather our berries and go back to the inn. We've returned to the courtyard. 2 of the guards are participating in a friendly skirmish. Their wrestling is accompanied by a crowd. Let's check our inventory real quick. Ooh, we've got some stuff here. A bucket full of berries, filled with fruit that grows near Pell to the north. The innkeeper asked you to fetch them for him. The innkeeper has asked you to forage some berries that grow near Pell to the north. Their red color is unsettling. So that goes under merchandise. We also got tools for berry picking, a set given to you by the innkeeper from Pell to the north, a hook, a pair of gloves, and a bucket to help you forage for berries. A set of tools given to you. The hook has caught your eye. Its head is made from a dark animal claw. People in the countryside often use bones, claws, tusks, or even stones to make tools and weapons, but this one is quite large. We could detach the claw. I would not suggest it, though. In fact, I'm not going to. Chat doesn't even get a choice. Soda Pop. While valuable, they can't survive in the Dragonwoods on their own. They are owned by messengers, scouts, or rich city folk. Horses are not a common sight in the Dragonwoods. They were brought here from the conquests in the south and can't survive in the forests by themselves. They can run for a long time, but not fast enough to escape all the local monsters. Usually, riders maintain a steady human-like speed, saving the strength of their mount for the unavoidable dangers that require galloping. We also have this nice rope. Making a rope takes a lot of time and involves complex tools that combine thousands of fibers harvested from plants, mostly hemp, linen, or straws. Since it doesn't take much skill and can be handled even by children, it's rare to find an artisan who would specialize in twisting them all day long. Ropes are much more durable than leather strips and are used for all sorts of things, though their durability doesn't make them a common merchandise. They can be heavy and awkward, so it's common for groups of travelers to share a single one among them all during their journey. Interesting. All right, we will enter the inn now. The locked windows, The locked windows make the air stuffy. The weak fire of the stove hardly lightens up the hall. The innkeeper is sitting at the stove, cleaning a set of metal tools and ladles. So, you again. Need anything? Put his fruits on the counter. Great. He peeks inside the bucket. I've got cabbage stew with a few goose chunks for you. I'd serve it even to merchants if there were any around. The meal is warm and filling. It's well seasoned and not overcooked. And like I've said, I rarely have food to spare, but feel free to ask if you ever stop by. You may be lucky, and I've been cooking my whole life. Do we say thanks, or do we just keep chewing? Trav says let's be polite. I have a feeling Winterfairy is going to agree. so I'm just gonna go say thanks. And how did that old hook of mine work out for you? I see you still have your hands. So, we could give him the hook. I'm fine. We could buy it from, or offer to buy it from him, or we could lie and say we lost it. 1, 2, or 3, chat. Return the hook, attempt to buy the hook, or lie about the hook. Remember, in our inventory, we could have taken it off the handle. Yeah, we're giving this back. We're not mean. I give him the hook. I'm fine. He takes the tools from you and nods. Need anything else? We only lost the hook, which is interesting. But it looks like... Yeah, a pair of protective gloves made of thick leather. We have added that to our travel set. Congrats to us. All right, we have already asked for leftovers today. We cannot get any more, but our nourishment is much better, so we'll probably gain some vitality should we sleep tonight. We're still dirty as dirty can be. We have questions. We have buying and selling. What do we want to do? Are we looking, do we want to ask about Asteron? Do we want him to tell us about the peninsula of what he knows? Do we comment on the inn? Do we ask about the bandits that we've heard about? Do we ask about rumors? Do we buy or sell things? We have 10 coins. Let's ask about the inn. I didn't expect to find an inn of this size in a place such as this. Ah, so you know a thing or two after all. His mocking tone is soon replaced by a gentle smile. It was built long before we arrived. It didn't work out well for the previous owners. Once the war ended, they left. Not enough travelers, bad trade, the villages stick to themselves. We, however, came prepared, and now we're prospering. When you ask him about how they can afford all the supplies, he runs fingers through his dark hair. I'm not against running an inn, but we don't rely on guests. We're the ones doing all the trading. My hunters are a clever bunch and stay safe in the forest. In exchange for furs, claws, and bones, we get what we need and more, both from the south and the north. He moves to the window and peeks outside. We have a good life here. We spent a whole lot on armor, crossbows, lumber, spears, but in another 10, maybe 20 years, we'll have enough savings to move to Havlavin and not work for another day of our lives. We take risks, but smartly. The team is stronger than ever. I have big plans for us. Do we ask, or do we comment about it being surprising to find a purple-skinned man so far north? Or is there a good story behind the inn's name, Pelt of the North? Trav is curious about the inn's name. I can go with that. Is there a good story behind the inn's name? I mean, there's a story, but not a good one. He clears his throat. For years I wanted to have an inn called Pelt, but in my city it would have been in bad taste. Taverns and inns named with a single word were cheap, had a nasty reputation. There was the Claw, and Mugger, Basilisk, and Blissful, I think. The good places used at least 2 words. Empty barrel, a rose in a helmet, Empress's smile. Pighead was the exception. It was a real dive, he chuckles. In my soul, it's still just Pelt. Pelts are what we came here for, and what will make us reach our goals. It's surprising to find a purple-skinned man so far in the north. I ain't seen a soul looking like this since Mama died, he shrugs. It's not a fascinating tale. Let's just say I wasn't part of the invasion, yet I'm glad it freed all those who were claimed by the cities and their corsairs. He looks at the wall. I'm Lassen, by the way, but I rarely hear the name. I return to my other questions. So, do we ask about Asteron? Do we ask about the peninsula? Do we ask about the bandits? Or do we ask about rumors? Asteron Peninsula bandits rumors. Bandits. We will ask about the bandits. He freezes, observing your hand silently. He wants me to get the answers from the mayor of Howler's Dell. I'm on it. We did not hear anything about. We do not have the trust for him to talk about Glaucia. So Asteron, Peninsula, or rumors? We're just going to finish up these questions and then I will close up the stream for the day. Any rumors worth sharing? He crosses his arms. I don't like to talk about people who ain't nearby, but you know what you're doing. Who are you wondering about? Tell me about... We can use our keyboard to name people that we're interested in. So who would we like to hear about? I believe the journal will tell us a couple of things. We've met Tulia. We have heard about the mayor in the nearby city, whose name has escaped me. Let's see here. We know we know about Astron. Layson is who we're talking to. We could ask about Tulia. We could ask about the mayor of Howler's Dell, if I could remember her name. We could attempt to ask about Glaucia, but I don't think it will get us anything. Theus. We could ask about Theus in Howler's Dell. So, who do we ask about? Glaucia, Tulia, Theus, or Asteron? I could attempt to ask about necromancers. We could do that. Well, let's do necromancers. He crosses his arms. The room gets a bit colder. I'm a city man, Roadwarden. I've seen dozens of priests and monks saying the craziest shit for the sake of coin, dominance, and obsessions. Pagans, druids, necromancers, I don't care about any of that, as long as they keep to themselves. The locals ain't hostile, and I won't repay them by spreading rumors about that. So, he doesn't trust us enough to tell us more. We could ask about something else, or we could change the topic. All right. So, do we want to ask about Asterion or the peninsula then? It's true, he doesn't trust us enough. That will change over time. The peninsula. What can you tell me about the peninsula? What could anyone say? This place doesn't even have a name, unless there's an old book in an archive that no soul knows about. You know what I'd call everything from here to the coast? The hunting ground. He glances at your eyes. But it's not us who hunt. Keep that in heart, but the beasts in all shapes and forms. His word gains confidence slowly, which is strengthened by his deep voice. I've lived in this inn for over 10 years now, and I've only seen a couple of roads, a couple of places. It's just... Once you get here and you see how harsh it is to hit the road, you have only more reasons to stay at the warm stove behind a wall, even if it's suffocating. He looks towards the windows. I'm sure you've heard a lot already, that the people don't build hamlets anymore, that there are no more ibexes from the south, and the traders stay for only a few days. All of our iron is used for cauldrons, not swords or tools. What will I find traveling west? Well, there are hills nearby, then you'll find a village, maybe an hour from here. It was destroyed by beasts almost a decade ago. Nothing to see there. The goblins live there now, so most people just travel around it. And they say it's haunted, but who knows? Who cares? He crosses his arms and starts to sway back and forth, gathering his thoughts. You'll get to a large tree on the edge of the swamp. For the locals, it's sacred. You're not used to hearing someone mentioning pagans as if there's nothing unusual about them. There's a small path south which leads to an old mine in the mountains. Nothing to find there. But keep riding north and you'll find Howler's Dell, set at a clean brook. Farmers live there, and mouflons and druids. They'll let you stay for a night, but they're not cheap. If anyone thinks my prices are bad, it means they ain't been to the Ape Ale Inn yet. He lets out a gentle smile. Do we nod or smile politely? What do we think, chat? Do we nod or do we smile politely? Looks like we're nodding. I only know a bit about the next settlement, Old Pagos. The soil there ain't too fertile, so they work in their quarry and help other settlements build things in exchange for crops. The forests and hills ain't too harsh, but the Seekers have a small monastery nearby in the mountains. I don't care much about them. They keep to themselves and they don't pay well. The third village is unknown to me. White Marshes, set at the bogs. I've heard it smells like a griffin's lair. I've heard a lot of nasty rumors about the place, but I won't share them. I don't want to be a lie spreader. So 3 villages, really. Howlers, the one near the monastery, whatever it's called, and Marshes. Don't let their beds and palisades fool you, though. Weird people live there. Don't tell them more than you need to. You wonder if it's something he would tell other travelers as well. Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Pretty much, don't leave the main road, I'd say. Not so far from here, you'll find an old dolmen. A few of my people had to spend a night there, and the monkeys stole food and gourds from their bags. It was their fault. One of them had fallen asleep in the middle of his watch, but, you know. The eastern forests are wild. The roads are rough. Almost no soul lives there. One day, all these roads will be swallowed by the trees again. The furthest my team has ever gone was the home of the Enchantress. Just stay on track until you reach the crossroads, right near an abandoned watchtower. From there, turn east, you'll recognize the place. It's a nice home in a lonely meadow, surrounded by a wall. He looks towards the closed window, then at you again. Kind of like our walls, but simpler, without coating. She lives as a hermit, Eudocia. I don't know how she survives there, but if you don't have decent coins, you won't find much there. So back to the crossroads. If you turn left again, you'll see a road. People stay away from it. It connects the tower and the monastery, a shortcut between the two sides of the peninsula. I was warned by the locals not to use it. It already belongs to the beasts. Have you ever been to the northern coast? I only know about another inn. It's far from here, maybe a day on foot, a bit less from the eastern side. His eyes once again focus on the floor. I've never been there, but I've heard it's a safe place, close to villages of fishers and hunters, though I don't know much about them. That's all I need. We're going to ask about the Roadwarden finally. I'm looking for Asteron, the previous Roadwarden. Are you now? He goes to the table and invites you to sit down with him. I don't think I'm going to be of much help. He rests his elbow on the tabletop and grunts quietly to clear his throat. But I do want you to find him, so... When asked about his intentions, he measures his words. Asteron and I made a risky deal. Well, a very promising one. Last time he was here, he took 50 coins, my half of the investment. He knocks on the table with a fist anxiously. If you get my coin, or at least find out what happened to the guy, I'll make sure you won't be disappointed after bringing me the news. Could it be that Asterion stole the coins and ran away? He looks at a window and starts to play with a shutter. Just think Astron ain't the kind of soul that would do such a thing. For him, it wasn't much of a fortune, and I'd risk saying that he'd earned my trust. Not only mine, you know. It's easy for a road warden to make connections. He always had places to go, things to take care of. He rubs the table with his thumb as if trying to clean an invisible stain. I've asked travelers. I've sent a couple of my pals to find him. No real news. I know he stayed in White Marshes for a day and was meant to do something for the people there. It's a village in the northwest. Just stay on the main road until you reach the bogs, then enter them. You may get there before dusk. So let me know once you find anything, and we may yet return to this whole investment thing. I'll think about it. He nods. What else do you need? Do we have anything to sell? Pretty much no. Different traders are interested in different goods. They will purchase only some of the things you have to sell, and their offers may vary. You pull out some items, but the innkeeper shakes his head. I don't need those, nor could I sell them to anyone. I'd rather make coins than waste them, so bring me something of value. We had nothing to sell. But what do they have for sale? I can go and pick up a few things for you. Some food for your travels to start with. Apples, nuts, sausage. Not too many at once. We need to maintain our supplies. I've got an elk fur I don't need. Its buyer was caught by a pack of red wolves. Nice for a sleeping spot. Just as nice for a wall. An almost untouched bowl of soap. Priceless for a traveler. You can't tell if he's being sarcastic. Made of fine oak ash. Strong, though you should have some better supplies before you start your own bathhouse. After you mention you'd like something more useful on these roads, he looks down. I don't have any blades or armor to spare, but if you pay well, you can take one of our crossbows and a bunch of quarrels. A yew-bow, wool cords, and the trigger needs just a little bit of oil. It's as good as you can get without soaking it in magic. Takes a bit of muscle to draw, but even a 16-year-old could handle it. I won't sell it cheap, but I'm ready to give a discount to a helpful ally. Let me take a look at what you have first. So this is how trading works. We have rations that we can buy for a dragon bone each. The elk fur is 17 dragon bones. We can buy more crossbolts for 2 for 5. Or we could buy a box of soap for a dragon bone, which will help us get cleaner appearance-wise. We have 10 coins and 2 rations. So, I'm going to buy the soap. I want the soap. I'm just going to buy it. We could buy more corals, but we're not hurting. We could buy more food. I don't want to spend all of our coin, though, just because we do have a town up ahead that we could also stay at, which will be more expensive. We still have some rations. We're not terrible on food right now. We could buy some more bolts. Or we could just be done. But I'm taking the soap. We're not particularly hurting for anything yet. So... I'm going to grab 2 more food. Oh, no, I can only... Oh, I bought 3 food rations for 1. Okay, cool. So we're at 5 food. We've spent 2 coins. We're actually pretty good. Do we also want to buy the arrows just so that we have them? Specifically, we just need 1. 1 food ration will give us 2 nourishment. As long as we have more than 1 nourishment, we can up our vitality. That's kind of how it goes. So we're actually pretty good on food right now. So I'm gonna buy these bolts because why not? There. We've spent all the money that we can afford to spend. We have 8 bolts for our crossbow. We have 5 food. We still have some coins. And we have the oak ash soap. A box with thick balm that needs to be rubbed against the skin, then rinsed before it starts to burn. Made of ash, tallow, quicklime, water, and a few other ingredients. It lets you get rid of dirt and fat in no time. It's almost odorless. Not bad, not bad. So yeah, this is where we're going to end the stream. We have done some things. We're gonna stop here. I'm just gonna do a save in our spot. Yep, I want to overwrite the save. And thank you guys for joining me. I have saved. I literally just saved. Thank you guys for joining me for our first foray into Roadwarden. As you can see, it's very RPG. We do still do a lot of reading. And we can continue with the game tomorrow. So I will be streaming once again for a couple of hours from 1 p.m. Eastern US time. For those of you who do not live in Eastern US time, it's very easy to look up what time I will start for you. I hope that everyone has had fun, that we've enjoyed Roadwarden, a completely different kind of game from what we've been playing on my channel. And I hope to see you guys again tomorrow when we continue. So take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and bye.